Hey everyone. Listen, Mark chapter 9 talks about a man that brought his son to Jesus and said that there was an unclean spirit in this boy that kept throwing him into the fire and then into the water, and that it was seizing him up, and he was convulsing and foaming at the mouth, and he couldn't speak, and it was just manifesting. The unclean spirit was manifesting on this child, and he was still doing it. And Jesus asked him in verse 21, says, how long has this been happening? And the man answered him saying that it has been happening since childhood, meaning this has been happening since he was a child. Now, my question is, if this has been happening since he was a child, and children, as we all know, are not at the age of accountability according to God, they are still innocent, and that they don't have to worry about their salvation until the age of accountability, that if they were to die right now at a young age, that all children go to heaven. I mean, understand what I'm saying? Then why is it that churches are teaching us Christians, and that Christians believe this, that because you're saved, you cannot be oppressed by the enemy, that you cannot be influenced by a spirit, that you can't be hurt or bound up by demon influence? Why is that? Because we have a child that is clearly being you can see the manifestations of a demon within this child, making this child behave this way. Then why we as Christians, we are so absent-minded about how demons are unable to operate within us? I mean, think about that for a minute. Why? Because we do not study on it. We're not taught on it. Deliverance is, according to most churches and according to a lot of Christians out there, deliverance came when we got saved. But what about all those spirits that we invited in whenever we weren't saved? The spirit of addiction, the spirit of cussing, the spirit of pride, the spirit of anger, the spirit of murder, the spirit of strife. Think about all these spirits. They all have names and they all have behavioral traits, and we all know that when we do certain things, we invite these spirits back in, right? I mean, what about those spirits? What are they? Are they laying in rest? Because you're still toting them around, whether you're a Christian. Just because you're a Christian, they're still there. Because it says, we can resist certain spirits. We can resist, and by through the power of Jesus, we do resist them. But what about the other ones that are generational curses? What about those? We're still being bothered by them on a daily basis, and we don't even know it. They're still in our mind, messing up our thought patterns. Let me tell you this. Let me just speak this, because I feel like someone needs to hear this. The feeling that you feel that you're never good enough, that you can't, you keep missing the mark with God, and that you can't get close enough to Him, and something must be wrong with you. You're just not quite getting it right. You're not good enough for God. That's a demonic spirit putting that in your mind. Did you just hear me? That is a demonic spirit putting that in your mind. That unworthiness. It's demonic. It's not you. It's not God. So go through deliverance. Clean your house. Get rid of all that old baggage from whenever you were not saved. Get rid of all that baggage. And get your mind will clear. Your mind will become clear, and you'll be able to hear God better. Because sometimes what you hear isn't always God. Did you know that? Demons will manipulate your mind into making you think that it is of God, and it's not. So go through deliverance. It says deliverance is the children's bread. We are supposed to go through deliverance. That's what we're supposed to do. We as children of God is supposed to go through deliverance. So if you find yourself not being able to sleep at night a lot, if you find yourself getting sick over and over again, if you find yourself thinking these thoughts that you know are not from God, but something is just not right, I mean, you feel like it's you maybe, the spirit of depression, the spirit of worry, the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of confusion, we all know confusion is not of God. You may have picked up a spirit and didn't even realize it. Someone may have came over to your house and dropped it off. You may have went into the doctor's office and sat in a chair, and the person that sat in it before you has left behind some of that sickness that they were experiencing. You picked it up and it was transferred to you. You know, spirits are transferred through touch. So be careful who you lay hands on. Be careful who you shake hands with. Be careful where you sit. Be careful whose company you occupy. Be careful who comes over to your house. Be careful whose house you go to. Be careful, because demons are real. Just like angels are real, demons are very real. They're not a story time. They're not just because Jesus came and backed the pits of hell up and conquered the grave and all of this, which he did. But just because he did all of those things did not tame the demonic world. You know, Jesus is coming back very soon. So the demons are in full active. They are going to kill, steal, and destroy us if we don't get wise to this. Deliverance is a very real thing, and we all need to go through deliverance. So I sincerely hope that you don't take my word for this. Get in your Bible, research it, okay? And go through deliverance. And until next time, God bless.